What's blue?
The chairs.
Are we?
Hi.
Oh.
Wait, what? Blue chairs? What?
She loves our chairs, our comfy chairs.
They're pretty
Where
good.
did the color blue come into it?
Because they sell them in blue as well.
So we're talking about Much Ado About Nothing.
Hi.
And chairs. And
Apparently.
chairs.
But okay,
Good morning.
this is my fiance. I'm allowed to give her a hard time.
He is.
Meredith
He'll get the rest of it
McKee.
off camera.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I guess tell us, and Gabe, you are the star. Who do you play in Much Ado?
I play Benedict of Padua, who's one of the soldiers coming home from war. In this version, that's World War II. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to ask Meredith in 30 seconds. What is this show about?
Oh no.
Peyton did it. Peyton
Yeah.
Jenkins
Well, that's because
did
it's
it.
Peyton Jenkins.
You can do it too.
I'm just the director. You don't need to let me know anything. Much Ado About Nothing is really one of the first romantic comedies. So you have these two people who pretend pretty much that they don't like each other. They love having the war of words with one another. There's a merry war betwixt them. And then you have their two friends, one's cousin, one's friend, and the two of them end up falling in love. So as everyone comes together in this big celebration with the war being over, just everyone's kind of loosening up, they're all getting to know each other, they're all falling in love with each other, and then there's some people who just can't stand for people to be happy, and they go through and try and spoil everything. And it's just, you know, it's all about gossip, really, because we've all been in those situations where gossip just completely throws us all for a loop, and it's just it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and then there's all sorts of twists and turns, and you have to come and see how it goes.
Now, of course, this isn't the regular Shakespeare production, thing and thouing and the old costumes, as Gabe touched on.
Right.
It takes place in 1940.
1945, 1947. We kind of
With the great fashion.
yeah, there's so much fun with the costumes and hair, which I didn't do today. Hello, Gabriel.
Lordy.
And
We have a comedy going on right here.
And so we did set it in the post-World War II era, immediately after the war. It's within the text that just fits very, very well in the context there. And it's just really fun to play with costumes. And when you bring it into a more modern era, we're able to make the wordage real, because it was real to the people at the time when Shakespeare wrote it. Plays were written his plays were written during a time when most people couldn't read, so that was their form of entertainment. So this was their primetime television,
Right.
And so it's kind of fun to take that and take that primetime spin on it. So a lot of the humor that we have is very modern takes on the humor that on jokes that don't really translate too well into now. So we kind of revived a lot of the humor in this in a very somewhere between Monty Python and Friends is kind of where the humor has landed.
Right.
Just because it's a situational comedy.
Right.
And it's just so much fun to kind of see the pace as everyone keeps going with it.
Now, I stopped in when you held auditions, and I remember distinctly telling you, whispering in your ear, I'm just going to sit in for a few of them. It's fine. But I was so captivated by the people who came out and auditioned, and I remember yours explicitly. Right on cue, you just crouched down into Smeagol, which was insane. Gabe had told us that he could do voices, and that was one that you had said you could do, and I think it was you, Meredith, who said, well, do it. And most actors are pretty shy in real life and don't do that. They'll say, no, no. Down he went, and out came Gollum, and I was like, yes. But then to go from doing Smeagol to standing upright and spouting Shakespeare as if you've spoken it your whole life, I think that was what I saw in the auditions, the caliber of actors that were performing in the audition. It was a shoe-in on how great this show was going to be.
If I've only ever done one thing right in this whole production process, it's been the casting.
If you have to choose one thing, that's the one.
And they made it effortless. It was every single person came in and became a real character, and that's one of the things I love about this is, yes, you'll have some of those semi-melodramatic moments, but you can understand why the characters were brought there, and that is 100% the actors. Yes, I'll sometimes say, can you stand a little further this way, or I need you to turn out as you're saying this. Find your light. There'll be a lot of that in the days to come.
Cheat out.
But cheat out is like, or that's the other one. We do. Well, that's the fun thing is that we do have some people who are coming onto the stage for the very first time.
First time, right.
We have a lot of people who have been veterans of our stage for a while. Then we have a lot of people who have come back from taking a break. Gabe being one of them. Because tell them your story.
So basically, long story short, active duty Marine. Haven't been acting. I did a lot of acting in high school. I say that acting or theater in general saved my life. Shout out to Minnie Clark or Aunt Joan Benedict. If you're listening or watching right now, those are my drama teachers. One of them, Joan Benedict, is a Shakespeare guru, and that's why I'm pretty familiar with the show and Shakespeare itself. But with that that kept me in high school. They kind of tricked me because the 2 drama classes were at 6th and 7th period, the last periods of the day. So I had to go to school all day just to make it to that because I was ready to drop out. And then my mom's like, do theater, really loved it. And I got consumed by it. I joined the military out of sense of patriotism because I grew up with Cuban refugees. So we grew up really understanding how great this country is. And all the truth is, I wasn't smart enough to get into college either. So I was like, I didn't really have any options.
I doubt that. Yeah. I really doubt.
I doubt it too.
But it ended up working. Regardless, it ended up working in the end because the Marine Corps has been such a blessing in my life and it's made me the man who I am today. With that, kind of was going to go into deployment. Things didn't work out with personnel, and so they ended up cutting me. So I was kind of like sitting here with twiddling my thumbs, like there's got to be something better I'm doing. So I went to Wilmington a lot to like see theater, but I didn't really think about doing it or like, oh, I don't have time for that, I don't have time for this. Then I'm like, let me look around. So I looked around and then New Bern showed up and was like, okay, let's see what's going on. I was like, Much Ado About Nothing. And I did Much Ado About Nothing in high school. I did Dogberry when I was in that version. And that's a great role. I love that role. And so I'm just like, if I don't do this show, I am a coward. Like I have enough time. There's really no reason for me not to do it. It's just as far as Wilmington. Like, you just gotta commit. So I'm just like, so I saw that like a week before auditions where I had duty Saturday, so I knew I had to do it Wednesday. And so that's why I went to the Wednesday audition, and I was like, oh crap. So I'm just like, I'm literally just like memorizing my lines. My guys are asking me like, what are you doing? I was like, don't worry about it. And I'm just like memorizing my lines at work and just like going into different stuff. And here I am 3 months later.
Yeah, and after, like I said, it's just really cool. After 4 years, we have several actors in the show who went to school for theater and then went about having normal lives, like families, and just kind of the path took them a different way. And we have one actress who's in our show who had a degree in it and has not been on stage or auditioned for anything in 20 years and then came back. And then we, cool.
Oh, look at that.
And then we had, we have some folks who are familiar with Shakespeare. They do online reading groups where they go online through webcams and just do a roundabout read-through of Shakespeare plays, but have never stepped on the stage. So we have just the coolest group of people that come together. And there's just all sorts of cockamamie costumes that will get explained if you come see the show.
Well, Gabe,
your mom's watching.
My mom's watching?
Your mom, Gabe's mom, watching from Florida. We'll see you all from Saturday.
Gabe, tell us about, you've been in different productions of Much Ado About Nothing. Tell us about being in this particular production.
No offense, my old high school, but this is definitely by far my favorite version of it. Even the versions I've watched, Kenneth Branagh, David Tennant, Joss Whedon version, honestly, just because I think the 1940s gives an authenticity that a lot of different versions didn't really have before. Oh Lord, and there's me in my full glory. But with that, knowing that just the direction Meredith is taking, a lot of people hold Shakespeare on a pedestal. Like, oh, it's Shakespeare, it's supposed to be done a certain way, and like it can't, and if you do it the other way, you're a villain. And it's like, but he's like, but also Shakespeare was like, when Shakespeare wrote Much Ado About Nothing, he was 34 years old, you know, so he was relatively young, and it was kind of like one of his newer productions, and so with that, it's kind of like, well, what did 34-year-olds do back then? It's like, well, they got drunk with their friends and they hung out and
nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. Exactly.
Just our clothes.
So when we, I mean, as a high school, obviously we can't just say, oh yeah, Shakespeare just got drunk with his friends, so we're gonna have a bunch of high schoolers do this, you know. So that's the liberties we get with community theater.
Everybody's drunk.
Exactly.
Everybody's drunk.
Yeah, and that's the liberties we get with community theater, so we can add that humor to it, but also like kind of like adding character choices that weren't so that wouldn't be made if you had like a Shakespeare stickler. Absolutely, like our Don Pedro, like me and Keith talked about before. You always have to tell him bring it back, because he's so far out there. And Don Pedro is not a role known for that, but he just goes out there and you always have to reel him back in. And like everyone's now making those bold choices in this show that would normally not be taken in a Shakespeare show, and it adds so much energy to it and so much fun. She's told us to shut up backstage so many times because we're having so much fun.
And that's fine for now, as long as they as long as they shut up during the show, I'm fine. But everything else, I mean, it's just every single person a part of this cast has thrown themselves completely into it. We've had people go through some tough times over the course of this show as we're getting here to bringing it together, but it's just so cool to see everyone coming together and everyone's on the same page. Sometimes you're in a production of Shakespeare and you will have those people who have done Shakespeare as Shakespeare for so long, but everyone has kind of jumped on board. I've thanked them multiple times for trusting me with this vision on it, because it is a different way of doing Shakespeare. It's the Shakespeare for the masses, which is how he wrote it in the first place.
Right.
Several productions he wrote were for kings and queens specifically, but most of his productions were written for the masses, and that's why we have that humor nowadays, is to just give it back to the people so that everyone can feel that it's a shared experience. And that's something that I'm really happy that not only are we sharing the experience as a cast, but the audience is going to get to come along for this with us, and they'll be able to come in and note. Our sound guy, actually, as something crazy was happening on stage, he's like, this brings back some memories for me from Scotland. He's just like,
it's user-friendly. User-friendly Shakespeare. We're going to go over the ticket information.
Right.
But before we do that, before we go to commercial, I want you to do one of your lines as Gollum before we go. All right, so Meredith, tell us how the people can get tickets and when the dates are.
We are opening this Friday and Saturday for 2 weekends. The show will be at 7:30, and then both of the Sundays will be at 2 o'clock. You can go online to newberncivictheater.org, and you can actually get your tickets. You can select where your seats are that way, or you can call everybody at the box office at the number that is listed on the poster.
633-0567.
That number, and then just the wonderful folks in the box office will help you get the best seat.
This is not how Gabe is going to be performing the show, but Gabe, do us one of your Shakespeare lines as Gollum.
Which camera do I have to look at?
This one right
that
here.
One right there?
Yeah.
I do much wonder how one man, seeing how another man is a fool when he dedicates his behaviors to love, will become the argument of his own scorn by falling in love. And such a man is Claudio.
Come see it. You're not going to hear that. Okay, we're back. We are going to be doing a quick game now.
All right.
In honor of William Shakespeare and Much Ado About Nothing opening this weekend at New Bern Civic Theater. And the game is called Hard or Barred. Now, the game goes like this. Only Meredith knows the answers here, so Gabe, you can play along as well.
Right.
But we're going to let you answer third because you are more likely to know Shakespeare over me and Angelina.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do is she is going to read something off of one of these cards. It's going to be one of two things. It's either going to be a sonnet or a couplet from Shakespeare, or it's going to be a lyric from a hardcore rap song. But not that hardcore because this is early morning.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Say it again. It's going to be...
You have to decide whether it's hardcore rap or William Shakespeare, what she's going to read.
Oh, okay.
You have to decide which one it is. All right, so all right, go ahead,
We're going to
Meredith.
start off pretty easy.
So who's first?
We'll kind of just go around.
Yeah, we'll just go around like that.
All right. Holla, holla.
That's it?
That is it. That is the line. That is the quote.
I'm going to say it's Shakespeare. Shakespeare.
Holla, holla.
Oh, did we all answer?
Yes, now you.
I'm going to say Shakespeare, too.
I'm going to go with Shakespeare.
Good. Yes, it is Bard, King Lear, Act 5,
Yeah,
Scene 3.
I do remember.
Holla.
Holla, holla.
Okay.
I wonder why we take from our women. I wonder why we take from our women.
I'm going to go with hard on that one. Yeah, I think this rap song. Sounds like something Tupac would
I was
sing.
just going to say, Tupac.
Yeah, see?
I'm going to say rap, too.
I'll be different. I'll say Shakespeare.
It is hard. It is Tupac, in fact.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Good job.
It was Tupac.
It was Tupac, in fact. Yeah, very good. All right. Are cakes dough on both sides? Our cakes dough on both sides.
I can't see a rapper talking about cakes like that way, so I'm going to go with Shakespeare, yeah.
I'm going to be different and say hardcore rap.
It is Bard. It is Taming of the Shrew, Act 1, Scene 1.
Yeah.
But now I want someone to rap.
Wait for a
with
second.
that lyric.
And if you scratch number 4 on your card, you will smell
Keep it
cake.
together, folks. We got a handful. The most benevolent king communicates through your dreams.
That's Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
The most benevolent king.
You know what? I'm going to go with
communicates
hard.
through your
I'm going to go with
dreams.
hard.
Go with Jay-Z.
I'm going to go with I could see
So
Jay-Z.
you've got we've got Shakespeare.
Two Shakespeares.
Two Shakespeares.
I'll say
hard.
Shakespeare.
It is hard from the Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, there you
Here
go.
we go.
Just on the street right now.
All right. This was the most unkindest cut of all. This was the most unkindest cut of all.
Shakespeare, absolutely.
Shakespeare. Bard from Julius Caesar. There we go.
E2
I think Gollum is winning.
What's here? What's here? The portrait of a blinking idiot.
Oh, Shakespeare.
Shakespeare. The Merchant of Venice. Some of these. All right. Flout 'em and scout 'em. Scout 'em and flout 'em. Thought is free.
Oh, that's.
That sounds
a
like
hard one.
rap to me.
Flout 'em and
I'm
so
going
we
to
have
go
hard.
hard. I'm
I'm
going
going to
to
go
go
hard, yeah.
It is the Bard.
What?
It is from The Tempest.
That's a lie.
Flout 'em and scout 'em. Scout 'em and flout 'em.
That's
Thought is
the one
free.
Shakespeare show I'm not familiar with, of course.
I never wished to be burden bearer, but souls need saving. I never wished to be burden bearer, but souls need saving.
I'm going to go with hard.
Hard.
Yeah, I'm going hard.
Hard, yes. Big
Who was it?
K-R-I-T. Crit. I don't know if you pronounce it like that, but I just wrote it down as it was.
either.
I
It's
don't
fine.
know who that is.
A sword sliced the air.
It's Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
The Bard.
Hard. Tyler the Creator.
Oh, of course, it was Tyler the Creator. Right.
Hold on, this one. But what's past is prologue. What's past is prologue.
I'm going to go
Bard.
No, I'm going to go with Bard.
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 Yep, The Tempest.
Yeah.
I need to read that. I've never
Men
read
would.
The Tempest.
Here we go. Men would rather use their broken records than their bare hands.
Only that's hard.
Hard. Wrong. It is Bard from
What?
Othello.
What?
And our very last
All right,
one.
final one.
I was not born under a rhyming planet.
You got all done.
I was not born under a rhyming
Did I
planet.
say hard?
Yeah. Quick, you got 9 seconds.
I'll say Bard.
It's Bard. Much Ado About Nothing, as said by Benedict. Very good. That was pretty great, guys.
Oh, Lord.
All right.
Good job.